What is up? And welcome back. I'm still here, you're still here, she's still here, and today we're talking about YouTube and its weird position in the world right now. Because I think for a really long time, YouTube was like the place where, I don't know, like, not necessarily for short form content, because that's never really been what it's about. It's always been about long form and the short form of Instagram, not Instagram Reels, but that is the same thing. YouTube Shorts were only made in competition with TikTok, because in truth, YouTube has always been more about this long form content made by people. And it's interesting right now because I think we're at a point where a lot of the YouTubers who became popular with the platform are getting older, not making as many videos anymore. So maybe they've gone from several a week to once or twice every couple of months, or they've completely stopped making videos, which leaves us at this odd point because I don't think there's any YouTuber now besides like Mr. Beast, who I don't even think that man counts as a YouTuber anymore. I don't know what he's doing, but I don't think it's YouTube. I don't think he counts in this category anymore. He did pop up when I was doing my Googling and I was like, I don't think he counts. I feel as though once you make an Amazon Prime deal, you don't count. Once you're like the talk show man of an Amazon Prime show, you don't count. Regardless, YouTube is at this transition point because a lot of these YouTubers are gone, and now there's not like these YouTubers that everybody knows going on. So like an example is Dan TDM, Dan the Diamond Minecart. Like a channel was made in 2012, which was 14 years ago. And he was like the face of Minecraft and gaming YouTube for ages. Like if you scroll back, it's like millions of views on every video. And it was like, I think in like his prime, it was at least one a day, and most of the time it was two, which is an insane amount, by the way. It takes me ages to do this. It doesn't. And if you look at his channel now, he's posted 7 videos this month, which is a major uptick from his previous months, in which we were seeing like maybe one a month at most, but for the majority of the time there was more than a month going on between videos. At the moment, we've seen an uptick with his videos because 2 games he played way back when have now had sequels, so he's playing them because he knows it's what his audience wants. So he's playing both Tomodachi Life Living the Dream and Subnautica 2. So that is causing a major uptick in the amount of videos that he's making and putting out. And even then, the form of content that he is making has altered with YouTube. And the argument that I think could be made, and I think is accurate, is that he has changed with his viewers in the way that he can acknowledge that he's been making YouTube videos for 14 years now. So the people who were like 6 when they were watching him back then are in their 20s now and don't need like super hyperactive content anymore. And so he's altered, which I think is good. I'm not criticizing that. That's great. I think that was the right choice for his channel and for him to continue making YouTube, because there was a point there where he struggled doing it. And if this is what made it good for him, it's what made it good for him. And that's all that really matters, because he's the one doing it. But we still aren't seeing that number of videos. And they are significantly longer videos. I'm not discounting that. He's gone from like 20 minutes to like, and roughly, almost always around an hour. So that's also a major change, but it's this fact that he's gone from the face of gaming YouTube to not, which isn't bad by any means. He's married and has 2 kids now. It makes sense that his primary focus is no longer YouTube. It does mean that I don't know if there's as much of a consistent face as there was, because there is, of course, still like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier going on from back then. But they've got their own shit going on. And also, sometimes I feel like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier, to my knowledge, were never making their content for younger people, which was what Dan TDM was doing, which does make it different, because their content was never for the same audience. Anyway, but he's far from the only one. In commentary YouTube, we have Danny Gonzalez, who's posted 4 in the past 6 months. Again, it makes sense. He's married and has 2 kids. It makes sense that this is no longer tip-top priority. it's good that they want to be there for these important moments because their kids are young. They want to be there for these formative moments in their kids' lives, and that is fantastic. It means interesting things for the YouTube landscape, though. Drew Gooden has posted 5 times in the past 4 months. So it's just interesting because I do think there's this element of these people getting older and being like, I've spent all my time on this? Because it's a lot of time. And again, losing these faces of these types of YouTube. Smosh is still around, but it's changed dramatically from its origins. Of course, at its beginning, it was Ian and Anthony doing comedy sketches and stuff, and now they have an entire cast and a building and a crew, and it's wildly different than what it was, and they have like 4 channels. So it's this alteration in the landscape still. Like, yes, they are still there, but they aren't what they were before. Like, if you were looking for what their content was, it's not what it is now, and that's not bad. Again, they've grown. That's good. They've changed with the world. It does mean that there is that gap for what they were. I have more examples. PewDiePie has posted 11 videos in the past 6 months, one of which was like, I'm leaving, in like a month ago. From what I know, he also has at least 1 kid, and that is also his focus. Again, not criticizing that. If you have a child, your child should be your focus. Not criticizing that. That's good. Proud of them for doing that. Jenna Marbles, I don't know what type of content she did, and therefore I will not be commenting on it, but she hasn't posted in 5 years, and to what I understand, that was upsetting to the people that she made videos for. In a Sims-related one that will always upset me until the day I die, Claire Chabon hasn't posted in 3.5 years now. She has 3 kids. So it's all of these people that made what YouTube what it was at its origins that have now changed their priorities, which isn't bad, but again, it means YouTube as a whole has changed. It's not the content that they were making then because they're not making it anymore. So I think YouTube is at this transition point where really the only options here now are new people that are making content along the lines of what it was before. Obviously, there will always be evolution to what we are now, or a death of YouTube. And honestly, I think it could go either way. I'm not going to make an argument for either because I think there is a solid argument for both sides. I find myself more often now than I did even like a year ago not knowing what to watch on YouTube because the things that are popping up on my For You page aren't things that I'm interested in. They aren't people that I recognize. They aren't videos that I want to watch. And maybe I've changed enough in that time frame of the past 3 weeks that I am not interested in what YouTube is showing me, and I need to figure that out on my own. I also think there's elements that the people that I watch don't make their videos anymore, and therefore YouTube is trying to show me other people who aren't making the same type of content, and that's not bad. It means that I need to get better and watch new people. But it means that we as a whole need to do that. And I don't know if we're capable of it, which is the really interesting part. I don't know if we are capable to do a transition point. What might honestly happen is a new app. Like when Vine died, those people went to YouTube. And when YouTube didn't work out for some of them, they went to TikTok or Instagram. And those platforms are better at consistently promoting new people, because the way that those function, specifically TikTok and Instagram, is with For You pages that are, you're watching this video already, or you're looking at this post already. I find myself finding new accounts on TikTok and Instagram, and I don't go on Instagram that much, I've mentioned that before. I find myself finding new accounts on those apps significantly more than I do on YouTube, because I'm not just looking at a thumbnail and going, do I really want to click on that? I'm already looking at what their content is. I'm engaging in it whether or not I chose to, which is interesting in its own right, but means that I am looking at new content. My TikTok For You page is constantly changing to what I actually watch, which unfortunately at the moment means more of those ads for those like real short story things that if you download the app, you have to watch like 1,000 ads to even see a quarter of the story. And every single episode is roughly the same as the previous episode with about one new plot device entered. But that's unfortunately what I'm watching, and I need to stop doing that. But it's a me thing. But TikTok is still showing me new content, and I could dig myself out of that hole. I've dug myself out of holes before on TikTok. And on Instagram, it shows me, I look at a lot of fan art on Instagram, it shows me new fan art accounts that I end up following and then are on like my regular homepage, and it suggests things on my homepage. But I'm already engaging in their content, whereas YouTube, I would have to pick a video, and I cannot make a decision to save my life. Like, when this video will have come out later on Friday, because I won't be home in the morning, and then I work until the evening, so it won't come out until the evening when I'm home. I still haven't decided what I'm gonna do for dinner, because I'm gonna be the only one home. I have to figure that out, and I probably won't decide for a significant portion of time. There's a high likelihood I won't have dinner tomorrow, because I'd rather not eat than make a decision, which is an interesting commentary on me. But is that issue with YouTube, is if I have to make the choice on what content I'm watching, I don't know if I'm capable of doing that. Which is why I think we could see a death of YouTube. Or, again, we get a successful transition period. I think part of an issue with that, though, is that we aren't really seeing any new stars. We're not seeing any new people rising up with the same popularity that these people did. Like with Danny Gonzalez and DanTDM and PewDiePie, we aren't seeing people rise up with those amounts of popularity. We're just seeing some people, and we aren't all seeing the same people, because there's a different argument to be made about the flood of content that's being put on every app at every time, but I'm participating in that, and therefore I won't criticize it. Because we aren't consistently seeing the same people anymore, the same people aren't rising and making this better content as they are viewed more and more. Instead, we're seeing a lot of people stuck at a lower level. And will they evolve? Will we all evolve? Who knows? That's all I have to say. I do need to write more scripts at some point. This is the point where I talk about myself, so if you want to leave, you can. But I'll turn so you can see my dog while I talk. I have to write more scripts tomorrow. I also have to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. But that's a me problem, not a you one. Yeah. I don't actually have a lot to say today. I just hung out today. I read a book. It was pretty good. I think more people should get injured in books. I read a lot of, like, rom-com-esque books. I will never get tired of one of them getting hurt in between the second and third act of a book. One of them gets injured and then the other one has that realization where they are in love with the other one. I think more books should do that, just because I want it. But that's a me thing. It has nothing to do with you. I can't remember how many scripts I have prepared. Not enough, I don't think, because I used one today because I didn't make one. I have 2 completed and 1 that's an idea, which isn't great, considering I won't have time to write any tomorrow, so I'll have to hope and pray that I have time Saturday to write more, because I'll need to use one tomorrow, and then I will have 1 in an idea, considering I don't think I'm going to do the idea tomorrow. But these are all me things. Anyways, I hope you all have fantastic days, or have had fantastic days, depending on when you watch this. You can leave now, but you do have to say goodbye to my dog because you lasted this long. Those are the rules. Peace.